Hi, welcome to Unrestricted View Film Festival. My name's James Wren, I'm the festival director, and today for Meet the Director, I'm joined by the fantastic Jack Grewar. Jack, how you doing?
Oh, I'm excellent, thank you.
Good, good, good. How are you enjoying lockdown?
To be honest, James, I've had a really productive lockdown. Obviously, we've had a few months off. I've had a few months off my regular job, and I've just tried to use the time constructively. I've written another feature film. I've started writing a novel because obviously there's nothing else to do. Yeah, so I've had a pretty creative time, to be honest. But I'm looking forward to getting back out there in the world and making some films and working with actors again. That's what I've really missed, and all my crew are eager to get back out there in the world. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a good time, but we're ready for it to be over now.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, because of course, it's the second time you've been part of this festival. Your feature, Some Kind of Love, won an award at our last festival, in fact.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's great to have you back. And this time it's a short downtown. And
Yeah.
so tell me where did the idea come from for this film?
To be honest, James, it came from a kind of few different areas. So I went through a period last year of having some really unusual dreams, like just just dreams that I couldn't really explain, just real weird imagery and stuff like that. So I wrote them down, and then as I was writing a feature last year, I was going through some really unusual kind of events, shall we say. So, for example, I was writing a feature, and within the story, the lead character gets something in her eye, and she goes blind. But at the same time, I actually got some metal in my eye, and I was thinking it's kind of like life imitating art, or whichever way around you want to look at it. And I actually wrote that into, that's what Downtown's about. It's kind of about an artist like suffering and struggling for her art while she's kind of creating a masterpiece. And it's just kind of little things that I've actually gone through myself, and I thought I could kind of tie that into a story. And some of the other themes in Downtown, the characters like struggling in like this digital world that she no longer recognizes. I kind of took that from something somebody said to me a few years ago, when they said, "Have you got Instagram?" And I was like, no, I haven't got Instagram. And they was like, "You need it." And I was like, "Why?" And they was like, "You just need it. Like, it's 2000, at the time it was 2018, I think. And they're like, if you're a filmmaker, you need Instagram." And I'm like, why though? Not like Steven Spielberg probably hasn't got Instagram, and Tarantino hasn't got Instagram. Oh, but you need Instagram. It's something you need. You need to get into the digital world. You need a website. You need social media. And I thought it's probably quite true. I mean, not everybody has, obviously, and there was that aspect as well that I kind of tied into Downtown, where she's kind of cut off from the digital world, and but because she's cut off, she's struggling to with her art and with a masterpiece. Do you know what I mean? So it was just kind of tying all these weird things that have either happened to myself or that were happening in the world, and I thought I'd just try and tie them into a short story, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, it's fab. Yeah, and I love the way you really felt like she was kind of adrift from the real world, couldn't seem to connect to it because she wasn't connected in a way. It's yeah, that came across very strongly, I thought. And stylistically, what was the thinking behind the black and white?
Do you know what, James? To be honest, I think when I first had the idea for this film, this story, it was just black and white from the start. Like, I don't know why. Maybe because I was watching a lot of Darren Aronofsky films at the time,
Right.
And obviously his debut feature, Pi, is black and white, and I think this Downtown, this short, I think it is quite heavily influenced by Darren Aronofsky, whether I like it or not. I mean, I didn't really intend it to go that way, but at the time I was rewatching a lot of Darren Aronofsky films, and like I said, it just needed to be black and white. Like the lead character, the artist, she, as you can obviously recognise by her accent, she's Southern. And obviously being from Hull, living in the North, for some reason, I just knew that she had to be Southern. She had to have this nice posh accent, and it had to be in black and white. Just from the off, I knew that's what I wanted, and for no particular reason. I just knew it had to be that way.
Yeah, well, fab. And you were saying earlier you wanted to get back out there with the team again. I noticed, certainly with the actors, there were a couple that were from Some Kind of Love as well, back in this
Yes,
one. I mean, Harry and Jessica, I think. Is that right?
that's right. Yeah, yeah.
And do you use a lot of the same team all the time for your films?
Definitely, James. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's not a kind of large filmmaking element in Hull, really. So we've got like a small pool of quality actors, and we've got a great crew. And yeah, we tend to kind of work together a lot, just because, like I say, there aren't many actors in Hull. Um, and yeah, like we're all really close as well, because we've been working together for years. So yeah, I'll always use the same guys over and over again, because, like I say, a lot of these actors are that good, they can kind of adapt to any role. Obviously, if I've got something really specific in mind, like I did for The Artist in Downtown, I will kind of search a bit further afield. But yeah, there's a really good pool of actors in Hull at the minute. So
Sorry, excuse me. So right, so we leave lockdown, we're released into the wild once more. What's
yeah.
next? What is it? This feature you're writing? Is that the next project?
So during lockdown, I attempted to write a comedy. A lot of the actors have read it and they've responded really well. I've never written a comedy before, and comedy's not, to be honest, comedy's not really my genre. I'm not a massive comedy film fan. There's a few that I really like, but comedy in general is not really my thing. But I read a book I read a lot of books in lockdown, but one of them was called Choir Boys, and it was a novel from the 70s about a bunch of corrupt cops. And I just got this idea that I'd love to write a film about a bunch of corrupt cops and just the things they get up to. Obviously, I've tied like a kind of criminal revenge tale into it as well. But I think the reason I wanted to write a comedy is because lockdown for a lot of people was quite a depressing time. And like obviously, like we've discussed, I had quite a productive time, to be honest. I can't really complain, but a lot of the people I was speaking to, a lot of actors and a lot of filmmakers were really struggling and they was really down. And I just thought, you know what, like I'll try and write something funny just to kind of like raise people's spirits, so to speak. And that was it. And I didn't really watch any kind of movies to influence this script. It was mainly from like books I've been reading. And I've always liked the idea of like corrupt cops. I think there's a lot of fun to be had. I mean, they're obviously in a position of like responsibility and power, and I always think that when they kind of break that, it can be quite funny, in a kind of black comedy kind of way. So yeah, I've obviously written it with a low budget in mind, and I've got my actors together, and would hoping to film it this year. So I just need to raise a little bit more money, and hopefully I'll be back at Unrestricted next year with another feature.
Well, that'd be great. Yes, please. Fab. And what's that one called? What's the feature called?
At the minute, the working title is Low Rollers.
Low Rollers. Nice. I like that. That's good. So back to Downtown. I mean, how long was the shoot altogether?
It was two days, literally just 2 days.
Fab. And
Yeah.
was it actually an artist studio you were using, or an art shop? It did very much.
Yeah, I mean, in Hull, there's a street in Hull called Humber Street, and it's really popular at the minute. It's quite a new modern street, and it's got like a couple of art galleries down there. It's got a couple of bars, and it just looks really cool. We filmed most of it down there. We filmed a lot of the external stuff down there, and a friend of mine actually owns a really small art gallery down Humber Street, so we filmed in there. We filmed in the bar down Humber Street. And most of the shoot was actually in that area, so that's why we could kind of condense it into a 2-day shoot.
Oh, well done. That's great.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm just going to ask you a couple of simple questions so people can get to know you a little bit better, Jack. Who is your favourite director?
My favourite director is Michael Mann.
Okay.
Obviously, growing up, the first time I saw Heat, so Heat came out in 1995 when I was 9. And when I saw that film made me want to make films. That's the first film I watched. I mean, obviously as a kid, I was massively into like Arnold Schwarzenegger films and action films and stuff like that because my dad made me watch them. And then I saw Heat and I thought, that's when I started thinking, like, how did they do that? Especially like the shootout, the bank robbery scene. I watched it a million times and I was like, how did they actually make that look like that? And that's what got me into kind of the filmmaking side of things. And I think Michael Mann, I just love every single film he's ever done, except he did a horror film in 1983 called The Keep. that was weak.
No,
but every other Michael Mann film has been solid, in my opinion. And it can just jump from genre to genre, but straight away, you know, it's a Michael Mann film just from the style and his camera work and the way his actors respond. And so, yeah, definitely Michael Mann. For me, Michael Mann's like my most kind of inspirational director, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, and if you had the chance to, who would be your favourite actor or actress to work with?
Christian Bale. Hands down, I think, in my opinion, Christian Bale is the greatest actor of all time just because he can literally transform into anything. And I find myself, when I'm watching Christian Bale films, I never see Christian Bale. I see Bruce Wayne, I see Patrick Bateman, I see, I don't know if you've seen the film Vice, which was last year.
Donald Rumsfeld,
when he's playing the vice president and he's fat and he's massive, and you just do not see Christian Bale. I never watch a film and think that's Christian Bale. Whereas obviously other actors, I mean, even Leonardo DiCaprio is an amazing actor. He's definitely kind of in the top 5. But even in some films, I'm watching him and I'm thinking that's Leo or that's Brad Pitt. But I never see Christian Bale. I always see the role, you know what I mean? And so for me, definitely Christian Bale, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, and one last one. Difficult one, this, because I know for most people this can change all the time. But just right now, what is your favourite all-time film?
Just one.
Yeah, just now. I know it's an impossible question, but
if I had to pick one film that's my favourite, I'd probably say True Romance, Tony Scott film.
Yeah.
Just because, to me, it's like a fairy tale. It's got everything. It's got the action. It's got the love story, and the ending. Like, it's a happy ending. I mean, unless you watch the director's cut, which I don't really agree with. I prefer the theatrical version where Clarence and Alabama kind of drive off into the sunset. Like, to me, like when I saw it as a kid, obviously, and I've watched it thousands of times, and to me, it's just like, that is a proper story. It's a proper love story. It's got the action. It's got the violence. It's witty. It's colourful. That, to me, that's got everything. So if I had to pick right now, I'd say True Romance. But I mean, I could say that about a lot of films. But if you're asking me for one, I'll give you True Romance.
Fantastic. All right. Thanks so much, Jack.
No worries, James.
So, I'll be right back after this to say when and where and what time you can see Downton. And the festival is downtown, not Downton. That's a completely different thing. And Downtown, which the festival runs from the 13th to the 19th of July. You can get tickets at unrestrictedview.co.uk. Now, straight after this, we've got a trailer for Agatha Raisin from our sponsors at Free at Last TV. But thanks a lot, Jack. And it's great to have you back at the festival and great to chat to you again.
You too. Thank you.
Cheers, buddy. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Who's Melissa?
Just a writer friend.
Oh, God, what's happened to us?
You and Charles were all over each other. Hands off me, Fraith. Agatha?
There's no sign of James.
Please, will you just come back to me?
I need you to help me find out exactly who Melissa Shepherd was.
We're from the Agatha Raisin Detective Agency.
My wife says that you've been round asking questions.
There's a dark underside to the Cotswold. It's not all thatched cottages and cream teas.